representative from Georgia is bragging about some of his hunting. He actually wants to get elected as a senator. And this is Representative Paul Broun. And he claims that at one point he killed a lion and he ate it. So he said that he likes warthog. In fact, he said, I had roasted warthog. It was cooked in a French style. I'm a French cook myself, and I like to cook things with some fancy sauces and stuff that I'll make at home. That was excellent. So he's in favor of the warthog. I have to say, I've never tried it, but based on his description, I think I would, especially with that tasty sauce.
I love that it's staring at him in that photo.
With like
you ate me.
When it comes to the lion, he says, I've eaten everything that's in here, and he's referring to all of the like animal heads he has hanging on his walls in his office. This lion came from Zimbabwe. After eating this animal, the natives called me Boss Mashumba, which means boss lion. They had never seen a guy come and actually eat a lion. It's not very good.
They were probably laughing at him because they don't
definitely
eat lions. So here's this white dude, this rich white dude from the United States who comes in and eats lions. Woo! And he thinks he's some big deal, but
no, he thinks that they're like worshiping him, like, oh my God, this guy ate a lion. What a warrior, this boss. But they're secretly like, that's not food, you know.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
It's a top predator, so technically, I think there's problems with disease when you eat a top predator because that's kind of.
I just love that, like, when he travels, his dream is to eat his way through the cast of The Lion King. It's like, oh no, let's have some of that monkey and then warthog. Oh, you Timon and Pumbaa. Yeah, get over here. I want to eat you.
Yeah. He described it as chewy, and I have to admit, he did.
You're still thinking about the taste. I love that.
I didn't realize, and I'm extremely ignorant on this issue because I'm not a hunter, but I thought that hunting lions was banned. I thought that it was something that you just don't do, but no, in African countries, a lot of Americans actually travel to Africa for that very purpose, so they can hunt lions. But there are organizations like the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service that are worried about this because they believe that lions pretty soon will be an endangered species. They say that there are about 32,000 lions left in Africa, so that's a big problem. 32,000, yeah.
And
that's a lot, but I mean, another thing to keep in mind is that
it's sorry.
The population of lions has declined significantly in the last few decades. So if we keep up with basically destroying their habitat and by hunting them, well, we're going to have a huge problem on our hands like a decade from now.
Yeah, well, you know, top predators are required, are necessary for a healthy ecosystem, and in Africa specifically, they have this trouble now with the human-wildlife interface as humans are encroaching their settlements into the areas where, you know, this charismatic megafauna, they call it, exists, and they're having to, you know, the cattle herders are shooting the lions. That's why there's been a huge drop in the lion population. One of the interesting things I think about this is that there was an op-ed in the New York Times a couple of days ago from a guy in Tanzania who runs a wildlife park, and he said, please, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, please do not declare African lions endangered. In Tanzania, we have very strong regulations about when and how many you can hunt lions, and that has meant that we have a healthy lion population. Other African countries that also have these safari tours, they do not have these same levels of regulation that we do, and their lion populations have collapsed. And so if he was arguing that if the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service declares lions endangered, that it's going to deeply impact the tourism industry in Africa, which means they won't have that $1 million industry because people won't be able to then import the trophies of the endangered species that they've hunted.
Yeah.
I'm going to anger a lot of people, but sorry, this is really what I think. Like, doesn't that say something about people from the United States? Like, really, you would travel to another country just to get the opportunity to shoot and kill a lion?
Yes.
I don't find that to be surprising at all. I think
that
it's the idea of, like, it brings you back to a more
fun.
primal time and all that. I'm glad that at least in that country they do it in a responsible fashion.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with them going and killing the animals as long as they're not like completely wiping out a species. But it personally bothers me. Like, my father was a hunter growing up, but he hunted with a bow. Like, and granted they're deer, they're not going to kill them or anything, but I like the idea of hunting where the animal has a chance of possibly taking you out. I don't know, killing him from long range with a rifle, and that doesn't personally strike me as all that manly.
That's not a fair fight.
And I imagine that's why this representative did it, because he's a man, he eats warthog in a French style. He probably should have mentioned the French part. Republican primary voters aren't going to like that. But yeah, he wants to be seen as a man. You know, you kill the big animal. Just do it with a bow or like a spear or something.
Well,
that's how you're supposed to hunt warthog.
To his credit, he does as he says. He eats what he kills.
Yeah, that's true.
So, as a responsible hunter, you're supposed to do that. But still, the idea that
No matter what he kills.
Yes.
Rats.
Roaches.
Exactly. Yeah.
The one last thought I had is that I think that whatever the translation that they told him they were calling him, I don't think that's what they were calling him.